Hi. So as promised, I'm continuing on with the body portion of videos today after the introduction last video. So a lot of this information is going to vary greatly depending on what your distance you're going to be dealing with is. If you're going 100 miles a day, you've got a lot more to deal with than if you're going 10 miles a day. Your body has a lot more chance to recharge unless you're a very experienced rider, like in your 70s or 80s, or your body needs a lot more time to recover, in which case the distances start becoming shorter for what your body recovers from, at least from my understanding. So essentially the areas that you're going to worry about are training, choosing the right clothing, maintaining your body properly, understanding how things will feel beforehand, so you know if things are going to hurt and how they're going to hurt, and be ready for that psychologically so that when it happens, it's not a big deal. Listening to your body and responding to your body's needs when it tells you. So first, training. This is going to be essentially very straightforward. There's a lot of training manuals for how to work yourself up to different training distances, up to centuries and plus rides. In fact, this is sort of the thing that's one of the easier actual resources to find for me, in my experience. There's long distance cycling, one training book, long distance touring, there's a training list in there that provides you all that you need. Essentially, whatever your distances you're thinking of going to be doing every day, you're going to want to try to get above that. How much is going to depend on how important it is that you hit that mile marker every day, and your ability to put time in towards that goal. I'd say being able to do 10% at least above what you're planning on doing every day on a single day's ride is a good idea. I averaged on my long tour last summer about 75 miles a day, and around here in the area where I live, I did about 105 on my training days, fully loaded with all my equipment, and 75 still felt hard every day. So I can give you an idea of what you might need to do and what you might want to do. Essentially, over time, like, you want months to do it. Like, you want at least 3 months from your get-go, like from a reasonable, like I commute every day, I commute 5 miles every day to work. You want like a reasonable base above that you're gonna like to start with, and then you're gonna work from that. And 3 months, you can, at least for me, you can get to there. If you're biking every day, it gives you a lot of leeway in the fact that it provides you a lot more fitness than you expect. For choosing the right clothing, you need to know what works for you. Like, you don't want to buy a brand new pair of shorts or a brand new pair of gloves just before your trip and you find out, oh no, this doesn't work. Because a lot of places, even along established routes where bicyclists go a lot, you're going to have dozens or hundreds of miles between shops. On the Trans-America route, you have hundreds of miles between shops. If you're lucky, it's 100 in certain places. And also choosing the right clothing as far as layering goes. In the cold weather videos I've obviously talked about, and the general equipment videos, I've demonstrated that the possibility of cold hitting is enough to me where I don't want to have hypothermia hit and I die because I wanted to save 5 ounces on a base layer. Some people are very ultralight and they physically feel like they'd be fine and they can power through. And for them, all the more power to them, and I, maybe if I'm lucky, can work up to being that hardcore. But as I told people when I was out on my trip, everybody rides their own ride, and you do it the way that feels comfortable to you and right to you. And what I tell you is going to be, adjusted for that. If you feel like you need more clothes, if you feel like you need less clothes, if you feel like you need more or less training or whatever, do what works for you. And then, of course, while you're out on a trip, maintaining your body properly is important. You need to get enough calories. Essentially, from my experience, I biked 8 to 10 hours a day, at least. And the work of doing that all day is an appetite suppressant. And so whenever I was off the bike, I would have to force food down into myself somehow. What I ended up finding really worked well was get like quarts of milk. I'd buy it at gas stations when I'd stop for lunch. When I stopped for lunch someplace, and drink a quart of milk along with whatever solid food I had, because you can down a lot of liquid, and a quart of milk's 800 calories, ish. But in the same kind of way, like maintain your body, like keep things clean. If you know that things have problems for you, take care of them before they become an issue. Make sure you're able to hit bathrooms repeatedly, because you don't want to become backed up while on the trip, because if you rupture something or tear something because of that, it's going to cause a lot of additional emotional stress, and that's going to be the worst thing. So yeah, take care of your body and understand that aspect. And in the same kind of case, things are going to hurt. If you're going long distances every day and you're trying to push your limit a little bit, you're going to hurt. Things are going to be hard. You're going to be tired. And that's a part of adventure. It's part of why you're out doing what you'd be doing. It's part of why you'd be out touring. It's part of, last night we had a big wind snowstorm come through here, and I saw that and I just booked out into the weather for it, because I find that kind of thing really enjoyable and really fun to be in. But I understand that, and that's part of what the enjoyment of it is for me. The fact that I'm pushing myself and I'm testing myself. And you have to remember that while you're out there and your butt's sore because you've been pedaling for hours every day for days and days and days. And you just feel like you can't get a break. And if you can, take breaks when the physical burden just starts feeling too much. And after a day of not doing anything, you'll feel amazing afterwards. But understanding how it's going to be before you do it really helps with dealing with it, because when you're there and you go, yeah, this sucks, I felt this before though. Like if you're able to say I felt this before or I understand this, it makes it so much better and easier to deal with. In the same kind of way though, you still need to listen to your body. If you start getting saddle sores, if you start having shoulder or neck issues, if you start getting sunburns, if you have all kinds of different things happening while you're trying to not pay attention to pain, you can miss stuff that if you don't deal with, it's going to be worse. To me, like, ShamWow cream is an important thing to carry with you, because it's going to help make sure that your body's not going to have too big of a problem build up. If you start getting saddle sores and you don't do anything to resolve them or deal with the problem that's causing them, like adjusting your saddle or putting on more cream or switching out shorts or cleaning them more at night, it's going to become a big problem, and you could be ended up stranded someplace 30 miles from a town and just go, what? How am I going to get out of here? And you don't want to be there. You don't want to be having that happen. And I'm never letting that happen to myself, at least not purposely. And in that same line, you got to respond to those needs. When something's happening, when you can tell, like, I'm losing weight fast. Like, losing weight, for some people, like, they don't lose weight on tour. They always gain weight. And that's cool. Like, you're able to take breaks and you chill out and go around towns, and you're more of the 3-month cross-country kind of speed. I'm more of the, like, 6-week cross-country kind of speed person. Not like the 3-week, like the Transamerica racers that I got to see last summer. The unsupported ones. But for me, I lose weight during doing tours and during tours. And I have to pay attention to that. If I feel like there's something I'm not particularly getting, I have to find ways to get it. Whenever I roll into a gas station and there's like canned fruit inside, or dried fruit or stuff that's nutrients that I know I'm not getting normally, because to me, I end up like out on the open road, I buy a lot of Cheetos, I buy a lot of Doritos, I buy a lot of stuff that's a combination of 2/3 carbohydrates to 1/3 fat, because the fat's going to last and the carbohydrates are going to work quickly, and that's really what you're needing. In addition to protein and whatnot, but you're able to get that from things like drinking milk and cheese and stuff like that. But that's not where most of your calories are going to be coming from. But in that kind of way, you need to be able to understand what you're probably going to be lacking and anticipating it beforehand, and thinking of things to try to deal with that when it happens. So thinking of like what foods you normally eat that you're not going to be able to get out there, that you're going to have to down in large amounts to get the nutrients that your body's used to, or what ways you're able to be able to tell when you're going to be dry. I have the tendency a lot to drink a lot of water when I get up in the morning, because I know if I do, I'm not going to have to stop any place for miles, because the bottles on my bike are going to hold me, and the water in my body is going to last for quite a while because I filled myself with it. And in the same kind of way, if you feel like parts of your body are hurting, wrap them up, change your positions, do different things.